Good morning, and once more I welcome you to my Wednesday Norma Talks. Just sometimes I wonder where exactly to start because so much is happening, and this is the last day of March. So what I have been doing on the first Wednesday of every month is taking a look at a reading for the coming month, and this time seeing it's right on. Like tomorrow is the 1st of April. And by the way, happy April Fool's Day for those of you and people are in New Zealand. They have April Fool's Day today. So what I've got is I'm going to show you how this can work for you. I'm just going to put it up and share a screen. I'm right off the bat, and we're going to talk about that. But just before I do that, I'm going to say last night was my last night of an 8-week tarot class that I've been having, and I have been so thrilled with the comments that came back to me from the gals, because we had all the women in the class from all over the place, and as one, they all said how much they had enjoyed. Not just enjoyed, loved the class. And it's the first time I taught on Zoom this way. And I had to devise a few different ways of doing it, and I did it. And so I have some people wanting and interested in taking that course again. And I'm going to start it in the beginning of May. So through May and June on a Thursday, the first Thursday of May, I'm going to start that. But I'm just going to work at sharing this screen here. I'm not always so good at this, and I think how I saved it was in a document in my good old WordPerfect program. I'm a WordPerfect girl. So this is the reading I put out for April. Now I can't always remember when I first did this way back in December, and things were really getting a little bit tight then, and it's looking ahead, and I said, well, it really looks like things are going to change or open up at the end of March into April. And so here we are now at that. And so as I look at these symbols, and I put them out, but I haven't really read them. So I put them out just before. Oh, by the way, again, a little bit of side thing. Last month, you remember, there was no picture. It took 4 hours last month for the photo to actually come through. It took less than 1 minute today when I took the photo with my trusty camera, and then mailed it to myself, and it was there pretty well right away. So what we've got here, I'm just going to go through, and I'm going to use, I don't know if that shows up, so we won't do that. I'm going to go, the first symbol is that looking in the past. Now, I don't know about you, for the rest of it, I looked at particular for Canada and the US, because that's where I am, and that's basically because the world right now is going through all sorts of ups and downs. So when I said, well, I concentrated on the question of what are the conditions around April for the US and Canada. And what it shows here in this first one, which is the 6 of Cups, is the past being very much a part of this. Now, we've just gone back into another sort of lockdown where we can't go inside restaurants for another 2 weeks or maybe more. But it's like the past coming back, looking at the past, working at the past. But what I liked in this, it shows the willingness with the Knight of Cups of moving forward, that we are feeling like we are moving forward. Now, even though we are moving forward, by around the 10th of the month, there will be some emotional elements, and that's because of the Queen of Wands sitting here. That's fear. That the little lovely little black cat that sits there. It took me years to figure that out, but it represents our fear that we have. It looks so nice and it looks so cuddly, but the reality is it's sort of saying, oh, I don't know what's really happening. I don't know what's going on. I would look for some kind of changes that may occur between the 7th and around the 11th. Yeah, not the 12th, up to the 11th of the month, where there may be some uncertainty, there may be some new news that will come out that will create. But once you're over the 12th, I just feel everything really consolidates in a whole different way. And that's that King of Pentacles, because there's command, there is awareness, and that leads to the sun. When we get settled down, and I really feel that between the 12th and the 18th, maybe, yeah, around the 18th, 19th, definitely by the 20th, because with the 6 with the Six of Swords following that, not only do we have a new growth and new awareness and a feeling of freedom, and freedom, that's so important. It's as though, yes, we feel like we're coming out of a tunnel and that we can see the answer or see the awareness. So as we move into the last 10 days, the 20th, definitely by the 22nd, it's as though an aspect, one part of what's been going on is behind us as we begin to look more into the future and into the awareness of the direction of where we're going. And the Three of Cups, celebration, people become happier because not only that, I think for a sense of freedom, but a feeling of being joyous about life, which brings the very bottom card at the bottom here, the Ace of Wands, showing that we have new thoughts, new ideas, new directions, and leading us into the awareness. So I really want to look at the change that's happening here. Is it shows, I always look for movement. That's one of my things. Is there movement? There needs to be movement. And there's a little bit of a hiccup there, but I just really feel that we're leaving the past emphasis behind and moving into newness. And that is directed pretty well with every level and every which way that I can look at this. Now, things can change, of course, but it's like, to me, because I have the symbology down on my desk where it's easier to look at. But it's really about the Sun, the Three of Cups, and the Ace of Wands on that right-hand side as you're looking at it. That is very, very indicative. And on the left side, it was the Six of Cups is the past, and that you're moving out of again into that Ace of Wands, the newness. And that's the key here. There will be growth. There will be change. I am absolutely sure of that. So that is what we got. Now I'm back to me. I'm really, really, really happy. What just caught my eye, I have a new baby, a little Yoda. A friend of mine brought me a baby one. So I had to make sure that was visible today. So lots, I can tell I was a Star Wars fan right from the very beginning. I think I went to see the first Star Wars movie 7 times. But then people who know me personally know I'm a movie buff, and it has been very bothersome for me that we do not have movies. And maybe, just maybe, they'll open up the movie houses by the end of April, and I will be feeling very, very, very much happier. And talking about freedom, and I did on Sunday, and Sunday, for those that also look at a Sunday thought, I had driven to the coast and did some readings and some transformation work there. And then I was visiting with my son, and it was kind of like we had all these things to do. And I said, oh, I got to do my Sunday thought. So it was the shortest Sunday thought I've ever done. But it was really nice to have some freedom to be able to, I drove there and we had, like, I was eating out, and now the restaurants are closed. But anyway, it was really good to feel, because it's spring and the passes, which have been really snowed up this winter, were open. They did have some snow the night, but I came home late yesterday afternoon. And so consequently, they were all melted, and a little bit of light snow, but it was nothing. So that was kind of really, really, really fun. So I'm kind of in transition, coming back. It's amazing how when you go away, it's really great. When you come home, you got to pack, put everything away again, and get everything back into a swinging thing. So, and last week, my topic was, are you using all your psychic abilities? And this week, I want to talk a little bit about your intuition, or how your guides talk to you, for those that are into guides or angels and things like that. And what I find a lot, and very often I talk about things because I'm not perfect. And I find a lot, I will get a thought in my head. Let's say I'm going to go out to shop or something, and my eye will go to maybe a pair of gloves or an umbrella or something. And I'll go, in my mental self will say, no, I'm not going to need that. Guess what? I do need that. So that aspect, whether you think of it as a high self, whether you think of it as a guide, whether you think of it as your intuition, intuiting what you're going to need, I find that when I listen to those inner thoughts that kind of come across the mind, listen to them, because 99.9% they are correct. I have found that things that I've thought about, oh, I don't need that. I won't need that. I do need that, over and over again. Like, I am a slow learner, obviously. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that to the fore of the importance of listening. Now, I tend to sit and watch television at night, and maybe because sometimes I have trouble with my eyes by the end of the day, but so TV is easier for me to watch than read. And I get tired, but do I listen to my body? In fact, last night I was sitting there and I was caught up in a show, and I basically said to myself, Norma, you know, when you're like this, go to bed, and because you'll go to sleep right away and you'll have a good sleep. And so I talk to myself that way. Like, it's like the older Norma is saying to the kid Norma, oh, do I really have to get up and go to bed now? And yes, you do, because then you sleep better and it's easier and you can catch up with this tomorrow. And I did that. I got up, went to bed, and had a really nice night's sleep. It was really good, get me prepared for today. So I wanted to draw attention today was listening to yourself, and watch how you fight yourself. I mean, I can look back many a time where my thought would say, do this, and I've overrun it totally. Overrun it. No way. No, everything is fine. I justify it. I qualify it, everything. And in retrospect, the original thoughts were correct. So it's something to think about. We are incredibly intuitive in awareness, and we have a phenomenal support system, whether, as I said earlier, whether it's your high self, whether it's your earth self, whether it's your shadow self, whether it's a guide, whether it's your angels, whether it's whatever you want to call that, the love of the universe, whatever. You have a support system that wants the best for you. And when they say we're our own worst enemy, I know I have been. You know the saying, you shoot yourself in your foot? Well, I've learned a lot about shooting myself in the foot. And I actually didn't shoot it in a literal way. But on Saturday afternoon, when I arrived at my son's house a few hours later, I noticed my foot was hurting. My toes were hurt. One of my toes, well, in my lower toe part. And I mean, what's going on? Well, eventually, to the point I was really limping a lot, like I could within my shoe. So that night, when I got back to my motel room and I opened up my foot and took my sock off, my not the baby toe, the one next to it, was really black and blue and swollen and a little bit of blood on it. And I went, when did I do that? Now, it had to be when I had my slippers on. So I'd either done it early in the morning when I was in another town leaving a motel room, or at my son's place, because I had my slippers on there. And I thought, well, you know, I can remember saying, oh, that hurt. I do remember that. I don't know where it was. Not that it matters. But what mattered was I limped for 3 days because it would hurt to walk on it. And today it feels really quite fine. It doesn't look fine, but it feels so much better. I can walk. But I always look at analogies of life. How often we have an event that we pay no attention of anything at all to that event, but it has an effect in our lives later. Because let's face it, I don't walk a long way very well these days. And that's back issues, knee issues, whatever you want to, whichever, you can take your pick on that. But I can walk, and I can walk quite well. But when you've got a sore foot and you're limping, you don't want to walk too far. But anyway, I just thought how often we have situations in our lives that crop up that have maybe not a physical effect, but an emotional effect. or a mental effect. We don't want to look at that. You know how often our memories will go back, and they'll go back to where maybe we didn't handle things as well as we would like. Maybe we emotionally have a feel. If we're an emotional person, we have a feeling that comes up that we don't really want to feel. But what triggered that? What triggered that coming? I always say if we're in balance, we don't really, and I found that we don't hurt ourselves. I think that's why when we get older, is that we go a little slower because we know we're not as flexible as we were. Things like that. For me, I need to stay on my feet no matter what, because wouldn't be very good for me to fall over, that's for sure. So there's all these life is always showing us little things. Maybe slow down, maybe take a note of this. Maybe deep down we have a fear of maybe what may be happening or what will take place. We have a reaction. Who knows? But our body and our world, our helpers, are there. And our body is telling us, our helpers are telling us, sometimes via the body, be aware, be present. The present is so important because how you handle the present will affect your future. The saying, today is the first day of the rest of your life, is so accurate. When you really comprehend that, you really get to see the importance of it. What you think today, how you respond today, how you feel today is activated into your future. And just to tie that back in, so remember, when you have a thought up here, take your gloves, take your umbrella, or go left rather than right. Listen, listen. You're your own tuning fork. And I want you to be a happy, happy tuning fork. And on that note, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the lovely comments I've been receiving. I want to thank you for subscribing, for your the liking, etc. But also too, if you would like to get my newsletter, which will be coming out in the next few days, you can sign up via the website, normacowie.com. And I think it's on the contact page. You can just a little box to click. I'd be very happy to add you to the list. You have a great week, and I'll be back on Sunday for sure with my Sunday thought. Bye now.